Coming up next on Passion Struck.
Have you ever wondered what truly might inspire awe in our lives? It might not be what you think. Discover how everyday acts of kindness can lead to life's most awe-inspiring moments, challenging us to rethink our pursuit of peak experiences. Welcome to Passion Struck. Hi, I'm your host, John R. Miles, and on the show, we decipher the secrets, tips, and guidance of the world's most inspiring people and turn their wisdom into practical advice for you and those around you. Our mission is to help you unlock the power of intentionality so that you can become the best version of yourself. If you're new to the show, I offer advice and answer listener questions on Fridays. We have long-form interviews the rest of the week with guests ranging from astronauts to authors, CEOs, creators, innovators, scientists, military leaders, visionaries, and athletes. Now, let's go out there and become Passion Struck. In a world increasingly seeking moments of transcendence and meaning, the concept of awe has never been more relevant. I had the opportunity to interview Dacher Keltner, a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, who explores this profound emotional experience in his latest book, aptly titled Awe. While many of us expect awe-inspiring moments to emerge from grand vistas, monumental life events, or the mysteries of the universe, Keltner's research unveils a surprising and deeply touching source of awe, the simple yet profound acts of service performed by individuals all around us. This unexpected revelation challenges the traditional norms of where awe can be found and invites us to look closer at everyday acts of kindness and altruism that often go unnoticed. In our conversation, Keltner sheds light on why observing acts of service is such a potent source of awe and how this understanding can significantly impact our pursuit of a life that's filled with passion, purpose, and connection. As we explore the insights from Keltner's research, we're invited to reconsider not only what we know about awe, but how we can also actively engage in the world around us to experience more of these peak moments. This episode delves into the heart of awe, examining its implications for personal growth and how becoming passion-struck is intricately linked with the service and empathy that we extend to others. I want to start today's episode out by having you imagine a busy street, people rushing by, lost in the routines of their daily lives. Among them walks Sarah, a corporate lawyer who's always on the move. Her mind is occupied by the next case, the next meeting. One day on her way to work, Sarah notices a crowd that's gathered on the sidewalk. Curious, she slows down, something that she rarely does. In the center of the crowd stands an elderly man, his hands trembling as he tries to pick up his groceries that have fallen on the ground. People pass by, some glance sympathetically, but most are too hurried to stop. Then a boy, no more than 8 years old, breaks from the crowd. With a smile, he kneels down beside the man, helping him gather his belongings and chatting with him as if they were old friends. Sarah watches, initially impatient, but then something switches inside of her. For the first time in a long while, she feels a profound sense of awe, not from the grand achievements that she's accustomed to chasing, but from this simple act of kindness. Moved, she steps forward to help. And for a few moments, the busy street transforms into a place of connection and humanity. This moment stays with Sarah. It becomes a turning point for her, reminding her that awe and fulfillment often lie in the most unexpected places. Inspired, she starts volunteering at a local shelter on weekends, finding joy and purpose in acts of service. Through this experience, Sarah discovers that peak experiences don't always require grand gestures or achievements, but can be found in everyday situations, those acts of kindness that we all see all around us. This story encapsulates the lesson that awe can often be found in the simple acts of service that are all around us to observe. Following the story of Sarah and her transformative experience on that city street, we're led to ponder, what is awe and why does it matter in our lives? Awe, a profound emotional response to encountering something vast that transcends our current understanding of the world, is significant in its ability to inspire, connect, and fundamentally change us. Traditionally, we might look to the grandeur of nature or significant life milestones to provoke this feeling. Yet, Sarah's story illustrates that awe also springs from acts of service and altruism that we witness or partake in every single day. This broader understanding of awe challenges us to reconsider our perceptions of how and where awe can be experienced. It isn't just the towering mountains or the vastness of the ocean that can stir this deep emotional response. It's also the young boy's unwavering kindness on a bustling street. This act of service, seemingly small in the grand scheme of things, encapsulates the essence of awe by reminding us of our shared humanity and the extraordinary potential for goodness in our everyday interactions. This concept of peak experiences, introduced by psychologist Abraham Maslow, aligns perfectly with the experience of awe. These moments, whether derived from nature, significant life events, or acts of service, have the ability to profoundly affect personal growth and fulfillment, offering a glimpse into the potential for greatness and the depth of beauty in the world. Through this lens, we begin to experience the path to experiencing awe, and subsequently leading to a passion-struck life. It invites us to find wonder not in the extraordinary, but also in the ordinary acts of generosity that define our shared experience. Dacher Keltner's pioneering research offers a compelling twist on our conventional understanding of awe. Keltner's study revealed a more nuanced and possibly more accessible source, the observation of acts of service. This might not only broaden our perspectives of what elicits awe, but also deepens our understanding of the emotion's social and ethical dimensions. Keltner's research findings indicate that acts of service, characterized by altruism, compassion, and selflessness, often provoke a sense of awe. This challenges the notion that awe is typically observed in solitary experiences or our encounters with nature. Instead, it shows us that awe can be extremely emotional, stemming from witnessing the good in human actions and the impact that those actions can have on others. But why do acts of service wield such power in generating awe? Observing or learning about someone's selfless acts challenges our understanding of human nature as well as societal norms, highlighting the extraordinary capacity for kindness and generosity that exists within all of us. These acts remind us of our shared humanity and our ability to transcend self-interest for the greater good. The realization that individuals can make sacrifices for the benefit of others or for a cause redefines for us what we believe is possible, inspiring awe and a renewed faith in humanity. So as we think about this, there are some historical precedents for acts of service that inspire awe. Consider the selfless work of Mother Teresa in the slums of Calcutta, dedicating her life to aid those in need, or the courageous acts of individuals like Harriet Tubman, who risked everything to lead others to freedom. Modern examples include healthcare workers on the front lines of the global pandemic, offering selfless care amid uncertainty and danger, and everyday heroes stepping up during natural disasters to save lives and to rebuild communities. These instances of profound altruism and bravery resonate deeply, inspiring awe and admiration in observers worldwide. Through Keltner's lens, we see that awe is not solely the domain of the extraordinary, but is deeply woven into the very fabric of human connection and compassion. Observing acts of service expands our understanding of awe, encouraging us to find it in the selflessness and the kindness that surrounds us all, often in the most unexpected places. The acts of witnessing or learning about altruistic deeds of service has a profound psychological impact, triggering a cascade of emotional and cognitive responses that underscore the multifaceted nature of awe. Next, I'm going to dive into how observing acts of service enriches our psychological landscape, fostering empathy, connectedness, and a shift from self-centered to other-centered living. The experience of observing altruism often elicits a deep emotional response, stirring emotions of admiration, gratitude, and sometimes even a poignant sense of humility. Significant cognitive shifts underpin these emotional reactions. Witnessing selflessness challenges our preconceived notions about human behavior and societal norms, prompting us to reassess our values and priorities. This cognitive reappraisal can lead to a more generous and optimistic view of humanity, inspiring us to reflect on our capacity for kindness and consider how we might contribute more positively to the lives of others. So now let's go into empathy and connectedness, the heart of acts of service. Empathy plays a crucial role in the process of experiencing awe through acts of service. Observing someone engaging in selfless acts activates our capacity to empathize, allowing us to share in this emotional experience of both being the giver and the receiver of kindness. This empathetic engagement fosters a profound sense of connectedness, not only with the individuals directly involved, but also with the broader human community. It's at these moments of shared humanity that we often experience awe, a recognition of something greater than ourselves that binds us together in mutual compassion and understanding. Next, I want to explore more about the shift from self-centered to other-centered experiences of awe. The experiences of awe elicited by acts of service represents a departure from the more self-oriented paths to awe, such as those derived from personal achievements, the birth of loved ones, or encounters with nature. While these experiences can be deeply meaningful, awe that's inspired by altruism invites a shift in perspective from the self to the collective. It encourages a transition from seeking awe in the external world to finding it in the realm of human interaction and kindness. The other-oriented approach to experiencing awe not only enriches our own lives, but also has the potential to cultivate a more connected, compassionate, and altruistic society. In summary, the psychological impact of observing acts of service extends far beyond a momentary feeling of awe. It can transform our emotional and cognitive landscapes, deepen our empathy capacity, and inspire a shift towards a more altruistic worldview. Through this lens, acts of service do not just evoke awe, they beckon us towards a more compassionate and interconnected existence. These profound insights into how awe can be experienced through acts of service offer a transformative lens to personal growth and to the journey of becoming passion-struck. This understanding encourages a reevaluation of how we seek out awe-inspiring moments and the role of empathy, community, and altruism in our development. The path to personal growth is deeply intertwined with our connections to others. Community, empathy, and altruism are not just byproducts of becoming passion-struck, they are fundamental to the process. By cultivating empathy, we deepen our ability to connect with others, understanding and sharing in their joys and struggles. This empathetic connection fosters a sense of community, where acts of altruism become both the expression and the catalyst of our shared humanity. In this environment, personal growth is amplified by collective experiences of awe, driven by the selfless actions that we observe and participate in. So now that I've given that as a backdrop, I want to go through 6 fundamental ways for integrating acts of service into our daily life. The first is to start small. Acts of service don't need to be grandiose to be meaningful. Small, everyday actions such as helping a neighbor, volunteering a few hours of your time, or simply offering a kind word can all have a profound impact. Next, be present. Cultivate mindfulness into your daily interactions. Being present allows you to notice opportunities for kindness, as well as service that you might otherwise overlook. Third, seek volunteer opportunities. Engage with local community organizations or online platforms to find volunteer opportunities that resonate with your passion and your skill set. Fourth, foster empathy. Actively practice empathy by listening to and reflecting upon the experiences of others. This could be through reading, attending community events, or through having meaningful conversations. Fifth, reflect on acts of service. After engaging in or observing an act of service, take time to reflect on the experience. Consider the impact both on yourself and those who you have served, and allow those experiences to deepen your sense of awe and connectedness. Sixth, share your experiences. Sharing stories of service and awe can inspire others to create a ripple effect of altruism and empathy in their community. By integrating these practices into our lives, we enrich our personal journey of becoming passion-struck and contribute to the cultivation of a more compassionate, empathetic, and awe-inspiring world. Through acts of service, we discover that the path to awe and fulfillment lies not just in what we experience, but what we give to others. Dacher Keltner's exploration into the nature of awe challenges and expands our understanding of this profound emotional experience. His research underscores that awe is not solely reserved for grand vistas or for monumental moments, but it is often ignited by frequent yet simple acts of service or altruism that we witness or partake in. This insight shifts the paradigm of how we seek and experience awe, emphasizing the beauty and significance of selflessness in human connection. The transformative potential of redefining awe in the context of service is immense. By engaging in acts of kindness and observing altruism around us, we can cultivate a life that's rich in awe-inspiring moments. This approach not only enriches our individual lives, but can also strengthen the fabric of our communities, creating a more empathetic, connected, and fulfilled society. In leading a passion-struck life, awe plays a pivotal role. It fuels our drive for purpose, deepens our connections with others, and enhances our sense of fulfillment. By embracing awe, especially acts of service, we open ourselves to a world brimming with wonder and opportunities for growth, inspiring us to live more passionately and purposefully. So let us embrace this journey of discovering awe in everyday acts of service. I encourage you to seek out opportunities to positively contribute to the lives of others, whether that's through volunteering, lending a helping hand to a neighbor, or simply offering a word of encouragement to someone you know who's in need. I then invite you to share your own experiences of awe, those moments of profound connection and inspiration on social media. Let's create a collective narrative on celebrating the myriad of ways that awe touches our lives. For those who are intrigued on the concept of awe and who are wishing to dive deeper, I highly recommend further reading on the subject subject in exploring the works of Dacher Keltner, David Yaden, Scott Barry Kaufman, and David Vago. Their works provide a deep understanding into the complexities of peak experiences and guiding us to a more compassionate, awe-filled life. Together, let's redefine our pursuit of awe, finding it not just in the extraordinary, but in the everyday acts of generosity that exemplify the best of humanity. In doing so, we pave the way for a life that's truly passion-struck, marked by an unending quest for connection, meaning, and joy. I hope you all enjoyed the show, and I wanted to thank everyone who wrote in this week, and especially those who listened to today's episode. You're about to hear a preview of the Passion Struck podcast interview that I did with Dan Harris. From global combat zones to an unexpected panic attack on Good Morning America, former ABC News anchor Dan Harris has embarked on a transformative journey that we discuss in this episode, where you'll find how meditation turned his life around, leading to his best-selling book, 10% Happier, his podcast, and his meditation app.
I picked this concept up from the Dalai Lama, who I've had the great privilege to interview a few times. He has this idea of wise selfishness, which I really like because I don't love admitting this, but it's true. I'm wired, I find, to be selfish. And that is one of the biggest flaws that I've worked on inside of myself. And I just naturally go in that direction. I don't think this is totally uncommon, but it's a part of my mind that I've wrestled with a little bit. And the Dalai Lama's argument is that we're all selfish, but there's a way to do it correctly. There's a wise or enlightened self-interest. And I think what you're describing fits that bill. Because if you can focus on what you're doing that's valuable to other people, in my experience, it makes you less anxious and it improves the quality of your work and will likely, I'm not guaranteeing this, but it's certainly what I've experienced personally, make you more successful.
Remember that we rise by lifting others, so share the show with those that you love and care about. And if you found today's episode useful on acts of service and how they can inspire awe, then definitely share this episode with those that you care about. In the meantime, do your best to apply what you hear on the show so that you can live what you listen. Until next time, go out there and become passion struck.